Hi, and welcome back to studio. I cannot believe it's that time again, but it is. These are the fall classes of the year 2025, and I'm making this little video to just walk through Naked, Drunk, and Writing, as well as the other two handouts. The first thing I really recommend you do is print this out and just read it. Just some night you're about to go to bed, and read it with my comments to the side because I want to show you the areas of this feedback suggestion sheet that I really agree with, why I like it, and why I don't necessarily like it. I think there's some contradictions in here. So I'm not going to break through every single one, but I'm going to walk through it a little bit with this video so you can get a feel for the flow of this. I think some of this advice is actually not very good. So that's me as a writing teacher. So you decide what sounds good to you and just, give feedback accordingly. The most important thing I think about this feedback is that it really reinforces the idea that we all need to be very encouraging. And this is advice I need to take most of all. You know that when I get in a hurry, I'm very critical and I'm like chop chop teacher. And that's just no fun for anybody. So it's a huge reminder. Okay, remember how tender the writer is. Even the most seasoned of us really, really wants to get positive feedback. So, and especially in our early drafts, note to self, always let us know that this is an early draft, okay? So that we can be more compassionate with each other. And heads up for the new writers coming into studio this year, we know that you're new and we know that you're a little more tender. So don't feel ashamed of that. Just allow that tenderness to be part of the process, and we will give feedback accordingly. We're kind of changing our feedback a little bit this year to really focus on the positives and then do lessons. So this will help us for the long term of this art form. I don't necessarily agree with some of this, but I do suggesting a solution, hard and concrete. And then this one on page 102 is just so great. Read for enjoyment, making notes only when something pulls you back, right? And pulls you out. Try to have that assumption in your mind that this writing has already been accepted to publication. That's kind of a fun way to do this. And then here on page 102, all the way down, I'm talking about here as teachers, we really need to take this advice, and peers, yes, 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 take this advice, right? These are huge points. And so this drifting off at any point while reading, that's another one. It's the best question ever for you to be thinking about and to be answering for the writer in a compassionate way. Okay, now this is not part of the whole school of thought of let's everybody be super careful about everything we say because we live in this world of cancel culture and all that. It's just more about care and love for each other, right? We know that this is a long-term art form. It takes a long time to become the writer we envision we can be. And positive just helps, right? Although that's directly contradictory with what Conroy says as a teacher, that his work is mostly negative. So we have to find a balance, really. I found some of this feedback to be very non-specific, and then very spot on specific. So in this example, I'm actually critiquing the example. So feel like you can get closer to that. This is not the Bible. This is definitely just one writing teacher's perspective. The other thing that he talks about is, or this writer talks about, is feedback and how to take it. This goes to our own psychology. I will be the first one to admit that I started therapy not much longer after being in a workshop because my emotions started to overtake some of the really good craft conversations that were taking place. And I really kind of sunk myself through reactivity. And so hopefully don't eat your way, don't drink your way, don't struggle your way through this. Just try to get things into perspective and maybe get a little bit of psychological help because it's so painful. I mean, it really is in many ways so painful to hear this feedback on your work because you're so vulnerable. You're not a worthless person because you get a strong critique. You're somebody who's working on their craft, and we're diligent women and we want to give you the best feedback possible. So, bottom line, a critique is great when you come out of it and you just can't wait to write again. And we want to hear that from you. We want to hear that you are getting that kind of feedback. And if you're not, please let us know. Send us an email. If you get bad critique, right, and you hear somebody saying something snarky, I want you to write me an email right away and let me know. Often I'll hear it in class, but sometimes I'll miss it. And let me know where something really hit hard. Does this happen? Yes, this happens. New writers come in, they're not understanding completely this code, they have very strong beliefs, and they start to send out their arrows in ways that hurt writers, even the most advanced writers. So we can't help you until you reach out and let us know, hey, this didn't go well for me in the feedback loop. Okay, so read this, come into class. We might be talking about it a little bit, and a couple of other handouts that you will be seeing on your site page are these. So this is the edit mark meaning sheet. I don't use these terms a lot. I don't really go far beyond beat and things like that, but these are deeper definitions of those terms so that you can go read about that and actually see some examples. Beat, bump, unpack, slow down. You'll see me do some of these things. And back in the day when we were actually using paper, I actually did these kind of line edits. We don't see those with track changes as much anymore. So not to worry about that. But remember, I can be wrong. Becky can be wrong. We're again, it's too subjective in an art form for us to say this is the law. Hold everything we say lightly, even though we're strong when we say it. Becky will say things very different than me, and I will say things very different than her. We're both right to a degree, but the only person who's really right is you. Even if you don't know what you're doing yet, trust yourself. And that's the point of the feedback loop and the workshop. Okay, and the last handout is here. This is the feedback checklist, which comes from being an early student and not quite sure what to say. Like, what should I say? Yeah, this Naked Drunken Writing gives us some guidelines, but these handouts help a lot because they're so pinpoint on craft specificity. So you've been through Bones, you've been through Scene and Exposition, hopefully, and if you hasn't, let's talk. But you can comment on their scenes. Hey, I noticed you had 6 scenes here. That's so great. Or I really love the way the location was described. Or I really could visualize the people. These are specific on point craft feedbacks that you can give your fellow writer. I suggest, especially being an early member of the studio, to print this out and have it next to you because you're being asked to give feedback relatively quickly and you're being asked to give like good feedback. So this little guideline helps put some bumpers on that. Okay, I hope this is helpful and I'll see you guys in class and thank you for this time and just thank you for being a student at the studio. See you soon.